Over 2,000 years ago, in the arid and militarized lands of Sparta, a messenger from King Philip II of Macedon arrived at the city gates with a terrible threat. Philip, who had already conquered almost all the Greek city-states with his formidable army, sent a letter to the Spartan leaders that read, "You are advised to submit without delay, for if I bring my army into your land, I will destroy your farms, slay your people, and raze your city." The response of the Spartans, known for their austerity and economy of words, was not a long speech, not a diplomatic justification, nor a list of excuses or negotiations. They sent back to the king a letter containing a single word: if. This response, legendary in history, echoes the supreme principle we will dissect today, the absolute power of not explaining yourself. The Spartans felt no need to list their feats, to prove their courage, or to justify their resistance. Their silence, broken only by the strictly necessary, was more intimidating than 1,000 war cries. Now look at your life today. How far are you from this Spartan ideal? We live in a noisy society, a culture of public confession where silence is seen as strange, as arrogance, or as suspicion. Since childhood, we are trained to justify ourselves. Why did you do that? Why are you late? Why didn't you eat everything? We learn that to be loved and accepted, we need to bare our chests and show our reasons. We need to ask for permission to exist. And so, we grow up to become adults who apologize for taking up space. You are 5 minutes late, and you tell a 10-minute story about traffic, a flat tire, and a broken watch, hoping to see a sign of absolution on the other person's face. You say no to a dinner invitation you don't want to attend, but immediately append it with "It's because my aunt is sick and I need to wake up early tomorrow," lying unnecessarily because you feel your no alone is not enough. You make a decision about your money, your career, or your relationship, and feel an almost physical compulsion to explain your motives to your parents, your friends, or even strangers on the internet, as if you were in a perpetual court, in the defendant's dock, begging the jury to believe you are a good person. Stop and feel the weight of this. Feel how much vital energy you waste trying to manage the perception others have of you. Stoicism teaches us a brutal truth. He who explains too much diminishes himself. He who asks for validation surrenders power. Epictetus, the great Stoic master, said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid with regard to external things." He didn't mean you should be stupid, but that you should stop trying to prove your intelligence and your reasons to the world. When you explain yourself, you are essentially saying to the other, "I recognize your authority over me. I recognize that you have the right to judge my actions, and therefore I submit my reasons for your approval." It is an act of submission. It is an act of hierarchy where you voluntarily place yourself beneath. The king does not explain himself to the servant. The general does not explain himself to the soldier. The man or woman who owns themselves does not explain themselves to those who have no real authority over their life. Today, we are going to deconstruct this destructive habit. We will explore why silence is the most dangerous answer you can give, why it creates a vacuum that terrifies manipulators and enchants the wise. We will learn the art of keeping your mouth shut and letting your actions speak, the art of being a mystery in a world of open books. If you feel you talk too much, if you feel you leave conversations drained because you gave away more information than you should have, if you feel you are too nice and therefore not respected, this video is the watershed moment you have been waiting for. But I need you to be present. Turn off distractions. What we are going to deal with here requires courage, for silence is a heavy weapon and not everyone is ready to wield it. Check if you are subscribed to the channel, for here we do not form followers. We form sovereigns of their own minds. Leave your like as a seal of confidentiality, and let's enter the fortress of silence. The first step to mastering this art is understanding the psychology behind over-explaining. Why do we do it? Fear. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of losing connection. Fear of conflict. Over-explanation is an attempt at control. We think that if we give enough details, if we show every angle, the other person won't get mad, won't judge us. It is a childish illusion. In reality, the more you talk, the less the person listens to you and the more they detect your insecurity. Imagine two scenarios. Scenario A, an employee makes a mistake. The boss asks what happened. The employee says, "Look, boss, it's just that the system was slow and so didn't send me the email, and I also had a headache yesterday and I thought the deadline was tomorrow." What does the boss hear? He hears excuses. He smells fear. The employee's authority evaporates. Scenario B, the same mistake. The boss asks. The employee looks him in the eye and says, "There was a failure in my process. I have already identified and corrected it, so it won't happen again." Full stop. Silence. What does the boss hear? Responsibility, competence, strength. The silence after the short sentence is what conveys confidence. The silence says, "I don't need to hide behind words. I can handle the weight of my mistake." There is an unwritten rule in social dynamics. The one who speaks less holds the higher status. Think of mafia movies or historical figures of great power. The Godfather never screams, never speaks fast, never justifies himself. He gives orders, he asks questions, he offers short sentences. The ones talking a lot around him are the nervous ones, the guilty ones, the ones trying to sell something. When you start explaining yourself without being legally subpoenaed, you are automatically signaling to the reptilian brain of everyone in the room, "I am low status, I am vulnerable." And the world, unfortunately, tends to treat people according to the price they put on themselves. If you price yourself as someone who needs to beg for understanding, the world will treat you like a beggar. If you price yourself as someone whose decisions are final and sovereign, the world, often grudgingly, will respect you. But there is something even more dangerous about explaining yourself too much. You give ammunition to the enemy. Robert Greene, in The 48 Laws of Power, warns, "Always say less than necessary." When you talk too much, you inevitably end up saying something foolish or revealing weaknesses you didn't need to show. Imagine you are negotiating a raise or ending a toxic relationship. The other person asks why. If you start listing reasons, "Oh, because rent went up," or "because you don't pay attention to me," you have opened flanks for debate. The person will argue against your reasons. They will say, "But you can move to a cheaper place," or "I can give you attention now." And there you are, trapped in a negotiation about your life. Now, if you say only, "Because that is my decision," or "Because I am no longer satisfied," there are no logical arguments against a feeling or a sovereign decision. Against silence, there is no counterattack. Silence is smooth. There is nothing to grab onto. Most of us are terrified of the void in conversation. That 3-second moment of silence feels like an eternity, a social torture. We feel a physical need to fill it with anything, a comment about the weather, a nervous laugh, an unnecessary explanation. But masters of communication, hostage negotiators, great therapists, and stoic leaders, they love this void. They use it as a truth extraction tool. When you ask a question, and the person answers incompletely, if you stay silent and maintain eye contact, the social pressure becomes unbearable for the other. They will start talking. They will reveal more than they wanted. They will fill the silence with the truth. If you are the one who always rushes to break the silence, you are the one being manipulated by the pressure. Learn to be comfortable in the discomfort of the quiet. Let the other person squirm. Let the other person try to explain. Maintain your posture, breathe deep, and observe. You will see that often people tell on themselves if you simply give them enough rope through silence. Seneca, in his letters, warned about the danger of talking about your plans before they materialize. What you are going to do in silence, said ancient wisdom. When you explain your projects, I'm going to start a diet, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to write a book, your brain releases a premature dose of dopamine. You feel the satisfaction of having done it without having lifted a finger. You receive social applause. Wow, how cool! Congrats on the initiative. And this early validation kills your hunger. It kills the traction needed to execute the hard task. Furthermore, by explaining your plans, you invite the evil eye, which is nothing more than the envy and skepticism of others. Oh, but do you think it will work? But the market is bad, but you don't have experience. There. The seed of doubt has been planted in your mind, watered by your own words. If you had stayed quiet and just worked, the results would appear ready, bulletproof against criticism. A built building cannot be knocked down by opinions, but the blueprint of the building can be torn up by anyone. Build in the dark. Let the shock of your results be the only explanation necessary, but how to apply this in practice, in daily life, without looking like a psychopath or a mute robot? The technique is called the soft fog. When someone pressures you for explanations, you don't want to give. Don't be aggressive. Don't say it's none of your business. That is reactive and shows you were affected. Instead, be vague, polite, and conclusive. Why did you break up with her? Because our paths went in different directions. I wish her the best. Full stop. Slight smile. Change subject. How much do you earn? Enough to pay the bills and have some left for coffee. And you, how is work? Humor plus. Return the question. Why don't you drink alcohol? Because I decided to focus on my health right now. Don't give a lecture on the evils of alcohol. Don't judge those who drink. Just state your choice. Notice the structure. Short answer. Subjective truth. What I decided, what I feel. Plus, closing. You do not open space for debate. You create a fog where the person cannot hit, for there is nothing solid to attack, only your sovereign will. There is also the aspect of personal dignity. Pythagoras, the philosopher and mathematician, imposed on his new students a 5-year vow of silence. 5 years just listening before having the right to teach or debate. He believed the soul needed to learn to contain its impulses before expressing its wisdom. We don't need to be so radical, but we can adopt the 24-hour vow. On days when something controversial happens, when you are offended, when you have a brilliant idea, wait 24 hours before speaking about it publicly or making a definitive decision. The silence of a day purifies emotion. What remains after 24 hours is reason. Immediate anger makes you write that email that will destroy your career. The silence of 24 hours makes you delete the draft and write a professional response that gets you promoted. Silence is the filter that separates the man from the animal, the instinctive reaction from the strategic response. Another crucial point: stop explaining yourself to those who do not want to understand you. This is one of the greatest sources of modern mental exhaustion. You're on the internet or at a family dinner and someone says something colossally stupid about politics, religion, or life. Your instinct is to correct, to educate, to explain the facts, the data, the logic. You write essays, you waste your breath, you raise your blood pressure. And what happens? Does the person change their mind? Never. They entrench themselves further in their ignorance, and now they hate you. The Stoic knows he cannot control another's mind. Trying to explain the light to someone who loves the dark is a waste of light. Jesus said, "Do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces." When you realize the other person is committed to not understanding, silence is not just an option, it is the only intelligent response. A simple, "I understand your point of view," or just a nod saves years of life and tons of energy. Let the person be wrong. Their mistake is their problem. Your peace is your problem. Going even deeper, silence builds attraction and charisma. Think of the most magnetic people you know. Are they chatterboxes? Do they tell everything about their lives in the first 5 minutes? Probably not. They have an aura of mystery. They listen more than they speak. They look in the eyes. When they speak, it is pertinent. This generates attraction because human beings are, by nature, explorers. We love to solve riddles. If you are an open book with the pages torn out and exposed, there is nothing to explore. We have already read the cover, the middle, and the end. It got boring. Now, if you are a closed book with an interesting cover, people want to open it. They want to earn your trust to know what is inside. Who is he? What is she thinking? Why wasn't he shaken by that? These questions asked in the minds of others about you are the basis of charisma and social power. Be the question in their mind, not the obvious answer. But attention, there is a vital difference between the silence of power and the silence of punishment. The famous, abusive, silent treatment. Stoic silence comes from self-sufficiency and calm. I don't speak because it is not necessary. Abusive silence comes from manipulation and passive anger. I don't speak to hurt you, so you feel guilty. Don't be the manipulator. The manipulator is weak. He needs the other's reaction to feel in control. The Stoic is strong. He is in control of himself regardless of the other. Your silence should be like a mountain, immovable, visible, but indifferent to storms. It is not a weapon pointed at the other. It is a shield that protects you. Let's talk about the deepest fear that makes us chatter, the fear of judgment. Deep down, we explain our lives because we want to be acquitted. I'm not lazy, I'm just tired. I'm not a failure, the market is tough. We are all the time advocating for ourselves before an imaginary court. Marcus Aurelius had a cure for this. He said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." When someone judges you, that person is confessing their values, not defining your reality. If someone says, "You are selfish for not lending me money," that says more about that person's relationship with money and boundaries than about your morality. By understanding this, the need to explain disappears. You don't need to correct the other's distorted vision. You just keep walking in your truth. The sun does not explain itself to the owl that complains about the light. It just shines. Be like the sun. Now, I want to invite you to a practical exercise called the Diet of Words. In the coming days, observe your communication. Cut the justifying adverbs. Just, only, actually. Cut the soft introductions. I think that. Maybe it's silly, but speak directly. Instead of, "Sorry, I won't be able to go because I have a lot to do," say, "I appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to go." Feel the initial discomfort of being direct. Feel how your heart races thinking you were rude, and then observe the other's reaction. Surprisingly, you will see that people accept firmness better than a flimsy excuse. Firmness conveys respect. Respect for your time and the other's time. An excuse conveys sloppiness. By speaking less, every word you say gains weight. Inflation affects not only money, it affects vocabulary. If you issue too many words into the market, the value of each one drops. If you issue few, they become strong currency. Make your word gold, not confetti. There is also a hidden power in not explaining your negative emotions. When you are hurt, sad, or angry, the instinct is to vent, to vomit the pain onto someone. Sometimes a therapist or a close friend is necessary, of course, but transforming your pain into a public spectacle, into vague posts, into constant complaining at the office pantry, this dilutes your capacity for healing. The ancient alchemists believed the vessel needed to be hermetically sealed for the transmutation of lead into gold to occur. The human psyche works in a similar way. If you leak your pain all the time, it never transforms into wisdom. It just spreads like a stain. Keep a little of your suffering to yourself. Process it in the silence of your room. Let the internal pressure transform this coal into a diamond. The deepest people you will meet are those who carry scars they never explained, pains they sublimated into strength without asking for an audience. And what about silence in romantic relationships? Mystery is the oxygen of desire. When you explain your every step, every thought, every insecurity to your partner, you become predictable. Predictability is comfortable, but it kills passion. Keeping a part of yourself as a private garden where only you enter is not dishonesty. It is the preservation of individuality. It is what allows you to continue being a whole person and not just a dependent half. Don't explain why you need an hour alone reading. Just say, I'm going to read for a bit now. This autonomy is sexy. This autonomy inspires respect. It shows you are the guardian of your own time and your own mind. Think of the great mentors you've had in life, real or fictional. Yoda, Gandalf, the Stoic sage. They never give the full answer. They never explain the detailed why of every spell or piece of advice. They point the way and shut their mouths. They let the hero discover. By explaining yourself less, you place yourself in this mentor position in the lives of those around you. You stop trying to convince your children, your employees, or your friends with long speeches and begin to guide them with questions and silent examples. The example screams. The speech whispers. If you want your child to be honest and don't explain. If you want your team to be punctual and don't make speeches about punctuality. The embodiment of virtue requires no captions, but perhaps you are thinking, if I stop explaining myself, people will think poorly of me. They'll think I'm cold, distant, insensitive. Yes, some will. And here is the final liberation. Let them think. Real freedom begins the moment you give up controlling other people's minds. You have no control over the fiction they create about you. You only have control over the reality of who you are. If your conscience is clear, if your intentions are just, the wrong opinion of others is irrelevant. It is just the sound of wind in the leaves. Do not change your course because of the wind. We have arrived at the crucial point. Not explaining is an act of faith in yourself. When you decide not to justify your choices, you are, in fact, making a profound spiritual affirmation. I am enough. You are declaring that your internal compass works, that your values are solid, and that you do not need external crutches to walk through life. It is the moment when the inner child, who sought parental approval, finally matures and becomes the adult who approves of themselves. It is the moment when you become your own judge, your own jury, and your own executioner if necessary. And there is no greater freedom than this. Imagine the final scene of your life. You are looking back. What do you prefer to see? A life spent trying to convince neighbors, bosses, and distant relatives that you were a good person. A life spent apologizing for being who you were, or a life where you acted with conviction, where you made your mistakes and had your victories without asking for permission, where your silence was as eloquent as your words. The choice is made now in every conversation, in every WhatsApp message you decide not to send, in every justification you swallow to keep your dignity intact. I want to propose a practical challenge, something that will rewire your brain in the coming days. It is called the Spartan Challenge. For the next 48 hours, try to speak 50% less than usual. Answer questions directly. If someone asks why, give the real reason in one sentence and stop. Don't give the second reason. Don't give the excuse. Endure the silence that follows. Look into the person's eyes. Feel the tension and do not dissipate it. In that space of tension, you will feel something growing inside you, a spine of steel. You will feel self-respect returning. You will realize that the world does not end if you do not explain yourself. In fact, the world begins to revolve around you. And most importantly, observe who gets bothered by your new silence. Usually it is the manipulators and the controllers. They hate silence because they cannot operate it. They will ask, "What is wrong?" You are acting weird. And to smile and say, "Nothing is wrong, I'm just listening more." This will drive them crazy and leave you in peace. Your silence is the mirror where they will see the reflection of their own anxiety. Make no mistake, this path is lonely at the beginning. The crowd loves noise. The crowd loves drama and explanations. By choosing the path of silence and self-sufficiency, you separate yourself from the herd. But remember, eagles fly alone and in silence. It is the parrots that fly in flocks and make noise all the time. Which animal do you choose to be? The one that reigns in the heights with clear vision, or the one that repeats what it hears in the cage? If this video touched something deep inside you, if you felt the call to reclaim your power through a closed mouth, I have a request. Do not let this be just entertainment. Turn it into a commitment. Go to the comments now and leave your mark. Write the phrase that will define your new stance before the world. Who I am needs no caption. Write this so that every time you are notified of a like or reply, you are reminded of this pact. Who I am needs no caption. Your life is the movie. Do not ruin the cinematography with too much text. And if you seek to build an armored mind, a life where philosophy is not just theory, but the weapon you use to conquer daily chaos, subscribe to the channel. We are the silent resistance. We are those who observe, plan, and execute, while the rest of the world just talks. Share this video with that friend who you know has giant potential, but wastes too much time worrying about the opinions of others. Give them the key to the cell. Now, turn off this video. Stay in silence for a minute. Feel the power of having to say nothing to anyone. You are free. Until next time.